goodness. Oh, you poor beauties. These are my adorable little piglets. They've had a journey, they've been in the car about an hour, and I want to get them into their new home and get them settled in and relaxed as soon as possible. There's a lovely piggy. Come on. Oh, come on, my puppet. Come on. That's beautiful. I'm going to get you some water in a minute. It's good. It's your new home. You're bigger than your sister. That's a relief to have them nicely tucked up in the sty. And they look quite timid now, but in a couple of days they'll be used to me and I'll be stroking their tummies and they'll be as soft as butter and really relaxed. At the moment, I've just kept them in this little pen with the house and the little bit of yard in front. And it's actually much bigger than the space they've come from, which had a concrete floor as well. So now they've got earth, which they love. As soon as they come out, they'll have their noses in the earth and they'll start digging around so naturally. The breed I've chosen are Oxford Sandy and Black, and they're crossed this time with an English White. They're beautifully spotted. The reason I like the Sandy and Black is because they're nice temperament, they're hardy. They have to be tough, hardy pigs because they'll be living out here until about November, December. They're lovely looking pigs, they're very amenable and very tasty. I have to be careful not to feed them too much. If you feed them too much, you get a great amount of fat on them. So if you like bacon with the rind on, you have about that much fat before the bacon. I could actually give them no food and just let them live on what they can rootle through in the woodlands. Nettles and brambles, they make it nice and smooth. They'll enjoy eating the diet from there. They'll be eating worms, bugs, beetles, bits of root, all sorts of things, and they love it. But they do like concentrates. I do give them a little bit. I probably give them a double handful each twice a day because that just helps them grow a little bit faster. Any excess vegetable waste that we have straight from the vegetable garden, but you cannot give them anything that's been in the kitchen, so no kitchen scraps. And this is mainly because of swine fever, which has sort of ripped through various countries and is always a threat. And when you get intensive pigs, they often have hoppers of food and they just eat whatever they like, so they grow very fast. And when you get very fast growing meat, it tastes quite different from an animal that's been fed mainly from the earth and at a much slower rate. Probably the biggest expense if you get a pig is the fencing, and I fenced in quite a large area here, and so I've used ordinary pig netting, wooden posts, and then I've got a barbed wire strip along the bottom, purely because I don't want them rootling underneath it and escaping. Commercially, they often use electric fencing for pigs because it's less expensive, but I prefer to have actually the pig netting. Legally, if you've got livestock, you should inspect it twice a day. Because they're just in the orchard, we pop out and see them many more times than twice a day. I love all my livestock to be around my garden so I can see them a lot, keep an eye on them, and I like interacting with them. So I built my pigsty from stone. Well, it's actually concrete blocks with a stone face, with a timber shingle roof, and a nice little see-through gate so I can look into them even with finials on the post. But of course you needn't go to this expense. You can just use those corrugated iron pig arks or something like that. Many pigs live in structures like that. It doesn't have to be a palace. Whenever they go to the loo or anything, they go outside, and even in wet weather when it's muddy here, it never gets dirty in there. They are extremely clean animals, fastidiously clean, and they don't smell. This thing about smelling like a pig, they've got a lovely piggish smell to them, but it's not a mucky manure smell, it's just a lovely sweet smell, rather like cattle have a distinctive smell, dogs have a smell, horses have their own smell, and pig smell I think is lovely. And I think they are a very friendly, a very intelligent animal. And I've often thought if I had time to train a pig, I could probably train it far better than any of my Jack Russells, and I'm sure you could get them to do many things. Very inquisitive, very bright animals. I love pigs. I don't know what it is about them, but I just have this real affinity with pigs. And when they're piglets, they're just so lovely. There's certain rules and regulations you need to conform to when you keep pigs. First of all, you need an agricultural holding number. This property came with one, but if you haven't got one, you can apply for one. You also need a pig herd number, and I applied for that, very straightforward. And then you need to keep a movement book or animal record book. So I've got a little book and I write when the pigs came in, and any livestock movements, any disease I've had, any visits from the vet, any medicines you've given. You need to note it down all in the book. And trading standards can actually come and inspect you, and they have come and inspected me once. They're quite helpful. It's not something that you worry about. They just want to make sure that the animal is safe and it's quite humane and they've got water and everything's been done to them that should be done to them. It does all sound quite officious, but actually anybody who wants a pig and does the right things, you can keep a pig in the garden. And I think with people worrying about their food source more and more, I think perhaps more and more people will be keeping their own livestock. It's always a black day when it's time to dispatch the pigs. When they've got fat enough and big enough, then they sadly have to go. I used to do home slaughter. And lots of people think that home slaughter is illegal in this country, but actually it is legal, but you cannot sell the meat, which is fine for us because we just use it for our family anyway. And the plus point about home slaughter is that they are killed with a captive bullet in their sty. So they're literally standing, having their bottom scratched by me, and the slaughterman pulls the trigger and they're dead before they hit the ground. And it sounds really gruesome. But for an animal, comparing that compared to getting loaded up into a trailer miles up the road to a slaughterhouse, kept in lairage usually the night before, which is little pens before they go in to be slaughtered, and then entering the slaughterhouse with that smell and sounds, there's just no comparison. But it's very difficult with home slaughter to find a slaughterman that come and do it. And so for now, because my slaughterman has got a bad back and can't do it, we are actually having to send them to the slaughterhouse. So a couple of days before, I bring them out of their wood and I put the trailer just by the gateway and I feed them in the trailer or in the pen. I got that from the Archers, that wonderful Radio 4 programme that I adore, and he was very sad at his pigs going away, and so he did that, so they were used to the trailer environment, and so it wasn't such an upheaval for them, and it works beautifully. They live in there for a couple of nights and then we shut the door and take them off.